from the All Indiana Podcast Network. It's Diversity Focus Today. Now, here's your host, Rickie Solid Gold Clark.
And welcome once again to another edition of Diversity Focus Today. I am your host, Rickie Solid Gold Clark, along with our co-host, Dr. T, over there in the corner, waving. Our special guest today is Sheryl Wise. Our other team members, Attorney Mike Murray and Brian Wallace, are both on assignment today. So you got us three today, y'all. We are going to continue talking about what we spoke about earlier on one of the previous shows about education and what's going on in the schools and how the teachers and how the students and how the parents need to know the teachers of the schools. I mean, you know, you're sending your kids to strangers, as Sheryl pointed out in one of the previous shows. So we will continue that conversation. So we left off talking about the various things going on in the school. I think, Sheryl, you talked about Al Capone and all those some of the kids that are doing. Well, I'll let you take it from here.
Well, the kids need their parents, and we need to have more parental involvement in the school. They need to know their teachers. They need to call, show up at any time. And when they do that, that keeps the kids on track.
Now, let me ask you this. Can parents just randomly walk into the schools at any time? You mentioned that, right? I assume I know back when I was in school, you could. Yeah. Because you never knew when your mother or father was going to show up. You turn around, all of a sudden you look, oops, you know.
Well, let's say this. Nobody's told them not to show up.
Okay. So during school, even during that time, which is if you want to see what your child is doing, right? Yeah, okay. So, Dr.
I've done that as well.
Have you done that as well?
Grade school. One time I actually followed my daughter out the house. I noticed she had a little skirt on that was a little bit too short and some shoes. And she's like, goodbye, Mom. I'm like, goodbye. I'm like, what? And she just zoomed on off and got in the bus. And I'm just like in the car, head bonnet on, everything still. Zeroed in, followed her up. She didn't know I was behind her the whole time. She's like,
she's prancing up in there. Short dress now.
The other teachers and the students were looking at me and they was like, oh, because they saw what she had on, and she was just kind of being herself, expressing herself, which I was like, okay, but today she was on one, and I came up behind her when she got to the locker, and she was like, what are you doing here? I said, get back in the car. We're going to go home. We're going to change. I didn't check into no office. I didn't check it. This is at Hamilton County High School.
Oh, okay. She was in high school.
Yeah, she was in high school. And we got back in the car, and I yak, and she changed clothes, and that was the end of that.
Okay.
But, I get bold. I got bold a few times.
What a parent is saying is that I love you.
Yes.
And
definitely.
I care about you.
Definitely.
And I want you to be safe.
Definitely. And she wouldn't have lasted all day with those high heels on anyway.
She had high heels on.
Yeah.
Oh, she just really got herself.
She went there, right. And I didn't even know what I noticed first, but I got a peripheral vision as she left out the house, and I got in my car, drove. Like, what the heck?
That is ideal. You should have had that on YouTube.
I was tunnel vision. I don't even know how I even walked past security, the office. I just...
You're watching her.
Watching her.
Yeah.
Got her, and we came home, changed clothes, and I was good.
And see, we need more like you.
Yeah. And I tell parents, just like I mentioned in other shows, it's not about what the kids come home to or what they learn. Ask about the day, ask about their emotional well-being, ask about their physical, mental, spiritual. Get into things that feel like, well, all they want to know is an A or a B. Or did I get in trouble?
Right. And if the parents don't show that they're interested
right
in their education and what they look like, their dress, or whether or not they do their homework, if they don't show interest, then the kids are not going to follow through.
And then even on that, unfortunately, during the time my daughter's in high school, my kids were still going through their, freshman and junior high. We had a disruption in the family where we was going divorce. So even becoming, married as they were growing up and then ending up divorced, I had to sit down and tell my children, I said, I'm not going to be there as much But just because I'm not there doesn't mean I'm not there at all, because I had to do things differently as a single parent as well to provide for them. So I had to kind of cut back on the Girl Scouts, which I had had that club from like my daughter was a daisy all the way to a cadet. It had to stop right about, high school, because I wasn't there to have to be able to, sponsor that.
Right.
I couldn't go to as many of my son's football games. So I can understand why sometimes involvement is about survival and providing for that parent, children for some parents. So it was just that balance. But it was also, it came in other ways, being able to sustain their livelihood as a single parent or a single, whether it's mother or father, communicating. Families usually break down with lack of communication as well, for what other people don't understand what happens behind closed doors, or why that parent was, and maybe that parent is experiencing some sense of mental illness, or maybe it is adoptive child that's going through trying to find who their parent is and who not. And I mentioned on the other show about alternative schooling. That's where a lot of that filteredness of children who have struggled with traditional standard of this is your schedule, this is your expectation, this is what you have to do, kind of end out. Not that they're at the bottom of the barrel or anything, like I said, some of those children were very intelligent, very smart for their own good, that they couldn't really function in a regular-based school. But the other ones that were having community issues, family issues, self issues, had to go back to those basics. And I was mentioning I would greet them. I listened. They wanted to be heard because they shut down because they didn't feel like they were being understood. So sometimes they're definitely the parent, and I've been, like I said, on both ends where I was actively involved, from brownies to, school parties and all that, to here I'm a divorced parent, maintaining income and job to provide for my 3 children. Luckily, like I said, that was past tense. Now they all graduated from college since then. My son is working on his doctorates in OT. It's like, okay. But it was all about communication. So if the kid doesn't understand, yes, it's the other family members, extended family members, it's the community, it's the teachers, finding someone you can trust, peer friendships with their parents. I never really allowed my children to spend the night over other people's homes unless I knew who they were and what they had, and didn't shelter them or was a helicopter parent, but I just gave them enough freedom to talk about safety and love.
Yeah, but what you were doing, and as you were talking, and I loved everything you were saying, because all you're doing is saying, I love you.
Right.
That's all, and every parent that's doing that and participating in the educational process, or reminding them that they forgot their books.
Yes.
Or you forgot to do your homework. You're just saying, I love you, and I want the best for you. And then what happens is they grow up and they become that doctor, that lawyer, that teacher. Yeah, they figure it out and staying out of trouble too.
And then some children, parents, and when I do counseling with family-centered therapy, when I was working for DCS, we went in, and the intent was to help the parent. These were parents who were at the bottom in themselves. Like I said, parents have mental health issues as well, but I had to go in there and try to resuscitate. So I did all these different assessments, and one of them was communication, but it was also parents didn't know how because they weren't taught themselves. But it still, as me, wasn't a 2-parent luxurious home upbringing as well. I learned through teachers, coaches, other friend parents, reading. You have to find that self-intuition to be able to educate yourself as well. Reading is always most important. All my kids had the foundation of reading, so getting the kids involved to work outside their environment by reading books. I think a lot of the greats like Oprah, the presidents, definitely Obama, all read books at early ages to be able to prosper into who they are. So hearing different voices even when they're not available. The bookmobile, did you ever remember that? That used to come in the community. Talk about community involvement. I remember the bookmobile used to come to our neighborhood when I was a child, and I would love it on there because my mom didn't have transportation to get to the library. But when they had the library bookmobile come in, I was there. I was there. So books was like, for me, my savior as well when parents wasn't around, or ways I could express myself or experience things I never imagined to create the lifestyle that I have today, even before television. So yeah, involvement, community, access to education, books.
But everything you said was the back to school celebration.
That's what I was definitely
yes,
understanding.
yes.
All in one. And people don't see that. They think about the free things, but it's also, hey, there's something different. And I think Mike had mentioned to us about representation.
Yeah.
People need to see their people, their cultures in front of these news stations, in front of the doctor's office and the garbage men. And, a lot of people, they keep our city clean, just because they don't have a titled doctor or this or that or celebrity, they are contributing to a better society for us. So accepting people for, I don't want to get too religious, but at the sense I see the body as Christ as us people being a head, a finger, a toenail, a leg. We are a body. That's how we're connected under a world sensation. And if we learn and accept our parts and allow children to be truly who they are without harm self to other, then we're good.
Once again, children are a blessing from God.
We're good. We're good. And you talked about that a little bit earlier. So definitely. So finding that balance, being able to identify who's the profile of this or that, kind of look at yourself, see what you are about and what you're putting out there, because it's going to come back. Any energy that we all put out there comes back. A child don't understand everything that's coming back until they learn. Well, when I cry, my mom gonna feed me or my mom gonna beat me. And they learn how by conditioning. We all know Pavlov, behavioral therapists and all that, but that's another whole show. So we are our own case study. Just what works for you don't necessarily work for other people, but what you do to somebody comes back. You ever saw that commercial, Coconut Smile? You have a smile today, and everybody smile and come back. I believe in things like that as well. Yeah. So with the whole back to school, alternative school, you were about to say on the previous show about your work in the alternative school. Did you see some of that as I was an intern, growing psychologist, therapist coming in?
Well, social worker. That's
social
my
worker.
That's my background, and I saw a lot that even made me cry. And that's where that back to school celebration came from, and I think the community came in unity at that time, because parents participate in your child's educational process, direct families and kids toward community resources. And so I always call it a party with a purpose.
Party with a purpose.
And a partnership with a plan. And so we did it for 17 years. And parents came. And we had all kinds of resources to help them to get started and help them to get involved and know what that means, and that they would know their responsibility.
Right.
You have these children. You've got to stay with them, grow them up in the way in which they should go, and then they won't depart from it.
Right. And if you don't know, learn from others that can support and carry you to that. We all have the ideal world, I think, of love and peace and serenity, but we have to learn how to see it for people who don't look like ourselves or have our same values and beliefs, to the extent of being safe, I think. That real peace?
DJ Gino presents The Funk Fest, Friday, September 26th, with Doug E. Fresh. The Funk Fest with Confunction. And it's all the way live with Lakeside. There's more with Midnight Star, plus Al Hudson and One Way. Then September 27th, it's the Classic Comedy Jam. 2 shows at 7:30 and 11, starring D. Ray Davis. Plus, Just Hilarious, Earthquake, Tony Roberts, and Amber James. Get tickets at the box office and Ticketmaster.
There is a major disconnect among that. The community is a little bit different, but it can be revised. People just have to, like you mentioned earlier, or one of you mentioned about community involvement and the village. A village raising a family, and that's what you have to do. What I have been able to see throughout the years is, especially with the younger parents, kids raising kids, and the parents don't have an idea. They're still learning, and so they're learning as we go, like a lot of us have. But most of us began families at 20, 21, 22, 23. You've got kids that are 15 and 16, years of age, some even a little bit younger than that. I mean, how in the world can you be mature or halfway mature at that age? I mean, you're still wet behind both ears. So, you know, and I don't know what the solution would be for that when the kids are having kids at an early age. You know, do they have an extended family? A lot of them don't. A lot of grandparents are raising kids. I mean, they've already raised their children. Now they got to raise their children's
Even
children.
great grandparents.
Even great grandparents.
At
you
this
know.
day and age are raising their grandkids.
You know, I don't know what the solution is on that, because there's, you know, there's so many of that sort of thing occurring right now.
The kids are overexposed to too much information, and they're at home looking at the soap operas right along with their parents, which is adult information, and those kinds of things. They're seeing too much. When we were growing up, things were separated, and that means, oh, you can't. We
in the basement, y'all go upstairs.
Well,
you had
yeah.
this bedtime.
Exactly.
The TV turned off. You know?
Right,
It's
right.
like, well, we couldn't watch TV.
Yeah.
We wanted to at that back in the day, right?
Yeah, so that, you're right. We had to
That's
watch
right.
it at the pleasure of your parents. So, and you know, those of us that back even further back, that before there was remote control, you know, the kids were the remote control. Turn it on. Give me channel so and so.
But we were connecting.
Yes.
Yeah,
we were
that's true.
connected. And things got easier and simpler.
And we understood what a kid was. You know, we understood what an adult does, what kids shouldn't do, what adults can do. That's not there anymore.
And I think that comes from kids being parentified at a young age, raising their siblings, or taking care, while maybe that single mom goes to work, the older sibling take care of the younger siblings, or back and forth. So some of them be like, whew, I didn't already raise my nephew and my niece and my cousin before I was 10 years old, you know, type of thing. So it's a lot of different dynamics that contribute to premature, of course, incest or rape or anything like that, you know, premature, you know, birth rates.
Yeah, that's true.
Parenting, unfortunately, because I've seen it and, you know, helped it in different ways. But
Now, answer me this, both ladies. Is there such a thing? Is there a class that parents can go to, especially new parents, to learn how to be a parent? Does any of the schools, whether it's elementary or grade school or college, offer any type of program?
Well, I have done that and offered parenting programs, talking about parents being involved with their kids. Now, you can set it up, and you can only hope that they show up.
And the only early intervention that I believe comes with prenatal care and the doctor being educated. What's that? What to expect when you're expecting? That was like my Bible when I first had my first child.
Oh, really? What's it
What to
called?
expect when you're expecting,
Oh,
and give
okay.
it to like new parents, or just, you know, being pregnant, and you learn about that first year of life and what that looks like. You know, other things like values and culture stuff that comes with you, based on, like I mentioned earlier, if you cry, am I going to get beat today, or I'm going to get love today? So it's learned behavior as far as, you know, what contributes into parenting as well. And there's no handbook. It's what feels good. And that's unfortunately too for kids that have a normacy of being raised in an abusive or neglectful family or situation. It feels good. It's norm. So until they get exposure or have those books to escape or to see or to know there's something different, then that's where it becomes. The 4 babies is a documentary of 4 different babies born at the same time, and they monitor them in different continents, from Africa, Asia, Western, and I think even in Alaska, somewhere in a colder environment. They followed the birth of from conception, not conception, they didn't show that, but they showed the birth of these parents, these mothers, and their children for their first year of life.
Okay.
And it's amazing how, despite, and again, we're speaking from our own abilities. Some people are born blind, deaf, you know, limbs missing. We all have different capacities, so we speak from what we know.
Right,
You know.
okay.
So these parents are followed their first year of life of these babies. We saw the most hand sanitized, environments, and then we saw go play in the dirt, go out there with the wolves. Let's go out
okay.
here and tie you on the back, and we'll cook dinner next to a fire when we tell you to get away from the stove. So that's cultural. That has nothing to do with race and who you are. It's just that's how you learn to survive and adapt in your environment.
Okay.
5 years old, 6 years old, you have your stick and you're going to go kill a lion or a bear or a fish to feed your family. Here, no, we're going to have your Lunchable and we're going to... So it's all about survival and adaptation. We only do in what we know. So I don't think there's no right or wrong way. I wouldn't say there is a wrong way, but there's no steadfast, this is the book of parenting and you follow.
Okay.
Because there's a lot that comes with that, whether you're young, old. I guess would you say that being a social worker?
I would say that get your resources.
There you go.
If you don't know what to do, there's lots of information out here. You can even go to the library.
There we go.
Okay, if there's something that you don't know, you go get help.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because we're all still learning.
Right.
Something, whatever it is, it might be. We're still growing. And so it's okay to have a library card.
Yeah.
It's all
Start
right.
young.
Uh-huh.
Start young. Wherever that
Exactly.
foundation is. Yeah.
Okay, well,
It's all right to ask your doctor.
Yeah.
That's
why I say it starts with prenatal care.
Yeah.
They get all that information about childbirth, infancy, things like that, parenting class. So I think start there, definitely for those who don't know. But there are programs there. Julian Center, I worked there for a little bit for abused women and children. They have supplement programs. I offer different groups, things at Hope Haven, as part of a group practice I'm part of. So the resources are there.
I smile because I worked for Planned Parenthood.
Oh, there you go. And unfortunately, how they got attacked, and they provided, different resources as well.
Yes.
And then you know your neighbor. Like I have a new mom that just, beside me. She don't know me. I'm not, no relatives. But I was like, hey, I went out there. How you doing? Oh, it's been bad. I'm like, wow. You get what you ask for. How's your day? Oh, this baby is rough. Well, hey, if you feel comfortable, reach out to me.
Yeah.
It starts right there in your own neighborhood. Connect to your neighbors. I'm here. She said, really? I said, yeah. And I saw the confusion their young parents, and I just saw it and the father's like, yeah, it's been hard. It's been hard.
Well, see?
I was like, well, I wouldn't know, but you talking to your neighbors, just opening that door, to learn. And I got plenty of books. They don't know really that I'm a psychologist or anything. Little bits, when they moved in, but they in that generation, but. Somehow that crossing a path was like, ooh, they need help. Yeah. Right there in your own neighborhood, they need help.
Well, that's good. So they
block
were
parties in neighborhoods. That's another back to school type of thing that could bring the community together, because kids go out there on the bus, right? And in the cold and in the dark at times when fall comes.
And I think people need to know that there's resources out here. You're not by yourself.
Right.
You've got to look for them.
Right.
And everybody loves Google.
Right. Word of mouth. Check the sources, though.
Right.
Check
Exactly.
the sources on that.
Well, we've got about less than 5 minutes to go. So I had a question, but I lost it. I had to
I'll look
research
for it for you.
See if you can find it.
I want to find
for me,
it.
Doc. I tell you.
It's getting close. It's getting close.
Oh, I know what
There
I was
you
going to
go. I
ask.
found
Yeah,
it.
you
Told
found
you.
it. Thank you for finding it. And for those in the market that we're in Indianapolis, Indiana. Our city county council are looking for ways to. We've had issues like most cities, where the kids are out late at night and doing this and doing that. Some of the council folks want to hold the parents responsible. In other words, which they are, but they want to either fine them, and if their child gets caught, 3 times out, maybe even ticket them or put them in jail.
The parent
The parent.
here in Indiana.
Yes, here in
Oh.
Indiana, primarily in the Indianapolis market, Indianapolis, Indiana. Do you guys have any short feelings on that, since we've got less than 5 minutes?
Well, I remember this happening before.
Okay.
This happened before, and I don't want to say the community it was in, but the community did come into unity and got resources and pulled those parents out, started providing parenting classes, and made it a requirement. And what I loved about it, Indianapolis Police, Marion County Sheriff, the community all came together and helped to solve that problem. And when we had the police, Marion County Sheriff, Indianapolis Police, the parents had to show up for the parenting classes.
If
Oh.
they had made a violation.
If they,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. If they
Okay.
violate the
Or
child,
if they want to come and hadn't violated anything.
to learn. Okay.
Right. Just to learn.
Well, that's good. I guess maybe that's a program they will reconsider starting it again, perhaps.
And it would be great if somebody mentions it to them, and I'll be glad to
You're
do that.
mentioning it
They
now.
mentioned it right now.
Yeah.
They listen. They watch.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
There
she
you
like
go.
forgot.
I got so comfortable. I
Yeah.
forgot I
Oh,
was.
that's good. You feel comfortable with us there. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that-
you can mention it now and say, hey, this is a good idea of, each one teach one.
Yeah.
When they have a problem, you go and you learn and you come back and teach somebody else and bring them up. And I think part of that is society too. It's all competition. Somebody feel like they always have to be at the top or just know it all. No, you bring up everybody out of that community as you come up. Just learn, pass the word,
Yeah, we could focus on
boundaries.
parents,
Okay. Well,
and
that's
we could require that parents come to parenting classes.
okay. Well, Cheryl, I know you're working on getting your website up, but if people want to get a hold of you, is it all right if they go to our Facebook and ask the question, since you don't have yours set up just yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So
that's
Dr. T.
Facebook. Diversity Focus Today with Rickie Clark on YouTube and Diversity Focus Today on the Facebook page. And we also would like to have additional comments and questions to share on our show and our airings as well. So definitely want to reach out to Cheryl, text me there, and we'll be able to respond to that.
Okay.
As well.
And I'll love to talk to you.
Yes,
Okay.
we'll definitely pass it on.
All right. So we're pretty much coming to the conclusion of our program today. So Dr. T, thank you so much. Any parting words that you can do within 8 seconds?
This will be in September, being Health Awareness Month and suicide prevention. So I
Okay.
think our next showing, or 2 showings, we'll be having a special guest to talk about grief and within the community as well as mental health. So I'm looking forward to that.
Great. Okay, that's pretty much it. Remember, it takes both black and white keys of a piano to play the Star Spangled Banner. Ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. It's
And
good to
thank
see
you for inviting me.
Bye-bye.
So with that thought in mind, I now will bid you a farewell. Thank you so much for watching our program.